Hey guys, I hope you can hear me. Hey Stacy. It's Stacy and Kathy and Terry here. I'm going to switch over to the project camera. As you guys know, we play Winner Winner Chicken Dinner and we changed the format last week, so it is basically like a little bingo game. So I'm going to switch over so you guys, hi Sue, can see numbers. If you don't have a number, you can pick a number from what's on the list. Let's see. There we go. We're about 5 minutes early. That'll give some of you guys who don't have numbers time to pick. There we go. Any numbers that are picked, guys, Kathy, you weren't here last week. To make it fair, because there's lag times and it varies every week, we kind of changed up Winner Winner Chicken Dinner a little bit. And these numbers are taken, and the only way that you can get these numbers that are showing here is if they don't show up this week, they will lose their number next week. Gerald wants B1. So, Brenner, right? B-R-E-N-N-E-R, Gerald, I believe. I think that's right. Anybody that, if they don't show up, like for instance, Kathy Fuller is not going to be here tonight. If she had a number in here, she won't lose it tonight because she might come in later in the day, and then her number is still available. But if I draw a number and they're not here, it goes back in for next week. Somebody can pick it. So, Stacy, you want G50? N34 for Kathy Durking. Or Durking. I always mess up saying your name, Kathy. But those are the available numbers. Let me pull 34 and, what was it, 50, and put those in the pot. You have to be present to win. Also, that is another new rule. And you can only win twice in a 4-week period, and that started as of last week. Anything before that doesn't count. And 34 is in the bucket. Hi, Liz. Hi, Patty. Or Patsy. That's Patsy. Patsy, you want 13. Did I just mess that up? I did. I'm typing around a bunch of stuff on my desk because today we have, oh shoot, a project that I needed space for. I was going to just do a video on it and let that be it, but I decided that I would go ahead and film it tonight. 13 is in the bucket. Liz, you have a number, right? You can pick any number that's not seen if you don't have a number. Terry wants 69. That's Terry Brown, guys, from Tidbits and Tinkerings. If you haven't checked out her blog, check it out. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Catherine. My moderators are also eligible to play this, guys. It's fair for them. They don't get paid. They're here donating their time to help. So they get a little something sometimes. Liz wants 29. I put an S on your name and it doesn't have an S. There we go. Let me pull 29 out and throw it in the bucket. That's okay, Terry. That's perfectly fine. Glad to have you here. Hey, Wanda. Wanda, I think we just issued you a number last week, 27. Did you want to change? If you do, it's okay. If you want to keep it, that's fine. But I know it was a rush because I take numbers up until 7:15, guys. After that, you have to wait till next week. Am I breaking up, Stacy? You may have to go out and come in. YouTube is doing some beta stuff. I have some beta and some not, and sometimes it does that. And I apologize for it. Hopefully it doesn't show like that on the feed, on the replay. Karen wants N36. Yeah, you have that already, Karen. You're in there for 36. You get to keep your number. I did not. I got you on that, Jamie. And that was 49. There it is. If I can get it out of the pile here, there it goes. No, you don't have to restate, Karen. The only time that you would have to pick again is if you're not here this week and I pull your number and you're not here to accept the Winter Chicken Dinner prize, then your number goes back in up for grabs. And then you will have to pick a new one the next time you're here. That's the way we're doing that. You get to win twice. I think I went over that. Cutoff is 7:15. Everybody's eligible to play. Doesn't matter where you're from. I only accept numbers here in the YouTube chat. Oh, I left my 4 out there. That's supposed to say a 4-week span. There we go. And in the event that I do have more than 75 people watching, then I will just add some numbers and we will do a random number generator, which we're going to do, which is okay. I prefer this where I can shut my eyes and pull a number out of a hat when I do the number generator. And that way you guys can watch me pull it out. So it's 7:03. We're going to go ahead and get started. Let me click on to start recording. And today we are going to cover any design space questions that you guys have. Ask away. We're going to cover the scoring wheel. It's not available yet, but we're going to cover it. And we're going to float some acrylics on some watercolor paper. Hi, Joan. Welcome. Joan, we're playing Winter Chicken Dinner every week. I'm going to transition back over so you can see the chart. You can pick a number. It's your number to keep as long as you're here every week. If you miss a week and your number gets called, we put that number back up for reassignment. There's the chart. Hey, Creative. I can't remember your name. I'm sorry. 59 is not taken, but I'll need a name, dear. Yes, there are some free ones in there, Liz. Like Jamie said, you just have to use your free filter. Joan G54 and Beverly, what number did you want? 59? Oh, too many V's there. And Joan, what's your last name, sweetie? $59 in the bucket. 54 in the bucket. just going to put an M for right now. Okay, so let's talk about the scoring wheel, guys. Gotcha, Joan. McLaughlin, McLaughlin. There we go. Hopefully I didn't slaughter that too bad. We are going to take a peek here at Design Space, and I'm just going to, let me cancel this and go to a new, I'm going to replace it, and I am just going to select a Make It Now project. And this is just what we're going to have to do, guys, until maybe I won't have to pay for this one. Oh, well, if I do, I do. I don't care. This is a box card, and I pulled it in. Let me cancel so we can see it on the, I'll pay the $1.49. It's no big deal. We've got our card. We've got our image set up. And if you guys have an Explorer machine, hi, Claudia, you are not going to be affected by this. But if you have a Maker machine, you have noticed when you go and you click Make It on your projects and you send them to the mat, that, let me just get this out of the way. I didn't realize I was going to choose one that had something to purchase in it. Watch me put the wrong, no, there it goes. Usually I put the wrong password. So then we hit continue and we select our device, and when we pick our makers, hi Patricia. Patricia and Claudia, I think you already have numbers from last week. Am I correct? Claudia has 32, and Patricia, did you pick a number yet? You may need to refresh, Wanda. Let me see. Maybe I've got a good live stream. It's not, I don't think it's you guys. I think it's YouTube, because I just got the buffering wheel on YouTube, but everything is showing good. So I think it might be YouTube. Yes, I see you down there, Patricia. Yeah, you got a number. Good. So anyway, when we're in Design Space and we hit this and we go to hit, well, I'm just going to say cardstock. You notice that you have the scoring wheel after you've chosen your material. This is the new default if you have a Maker. I know the tool's not out yet, but they went ahead and did the plug-in, I guess, for the people testing so that they could have access and do whatever they needed to do. But for those of us who don't have it yet, it's going to be a little bit of a pain until we get it. You're going to have to select Edit Tools and come over and select your scoring stylus and then hit Continue. Your machine will not score and it will not advance to cutting until you've done this, because we don't have a scoring wheel. If you have a scoring wheel, it's going to detect and make sure that you have taken out your blade and inserted your scoring wheel, either one or two, the double or the single. I have links for the blog on that Cricut put out in the playlist, the Cricut playlist on the YouTube channel. They did a video, it's in there. And I put the link where you could buy it at Cricut when it comes out. Yeah, it's going to show that it's out of stock until it's released, Wanda. It is not yet released. It will be released on HSN July 10th. Then it will be released on Cricut.com. Jamie, I'm sorry, I can't remember the date. I just drew a blank. I think Jamie knows the date. It says it on the blog anyway. It's in there. And then it will be available in stores. So just keep your link ready, Wanda. That way you can get your access discounts on the 20th of July for Cricut. Thank you, Jamie. So the 10th on HSN, but you're not going to get any discounts. You're going to pay for the shipping, etc. from HSN. And if you can wait that 10 days, which I'm going to do, I'm going to use my Access and my Circle discounts and get a discount on it. Since I'm going to be forced to have it or either have to change it every time. And at first I was like, and I even did a little tutorial video, and I'm like, I don't know. I love the fact that we're getting the scoring wheel, because I make a lot of boxes and a lot of things where I really need it. So I'm really excited about it. I'm not excited about having to take my blade out, because I know already. It's just like the mirror thing. We always forget to mirror our HTV. I'm going to forget constantly. I did it 4 times tonight cutting a sample card. I kept saying, why does it keep flashing? And I just kept hitting my Cricut button, and then it dawned on me, oh, I don't have a scoring wheel. So I had to come in here. I had to eject my mat, come in here, and go to so that it would reset, and edit tools, and put in my scoring stylus in order to complete what I needed to do. We're just going to have to do that. At first I was like, that's kind of going back to the Explorer 1 when we only had one thing on our head, on one head on the machine. And then I got to thinking, well, actually, I understand why. We get more pivot, a better pivot, and we also get, not only do we get the pivot, but the pressure. We're going to get more pressure off of that blade side than they can give us on the scoring style. Because if they increase the pressure on the scoring style, it's going to damage all our pins. Especially those felt tip pins and things like that. It's just going to damage them. The scoring stylus, like you have now, is not going to change. It's going to be totally just like it is. However, if you have a maker machine, the new default is the scoring wheel, and it goes in where your blade goes. Right here. You're going to take your blade out with the gold top on it, like the rotary blade. You're going to take that blade out, or your knife blade out. It looks like those. It has that same top that those tools have. And it's going to go into that adaptive tool system. And it's just going to take some getting used to, but all of our scoring has done that. And I mean, I understand why they did it, because of the pressure, and I'm really excited for it. And it's just going to be one of those changes. I know that we're all used to our machines. They're our babies, and we don't like, some of us don't like change. I'm one of those, I'm like, I want to advance, but I don't want to change the way it advances. So I'm having a tough time with having to take my blade out and put the scoring wheel in there, and the time consuming that might be. And then, like I said, I'm going to hit the flashing C before I realize I haven't changed it, and it's going to kick it back out and make me go back and change it. And it's just like, did you mirror your HTV? You're going to have to just make yourself a note there. Did you do this? Yeah, you'll just swap with the blade. After it scores, you put the blade right back in. Just like if you had an Explorer 1 where you were going to score and then write, you have to take the pen out and put the score in, and then you have to put your blade in. It's the same thing, except this is the scoring wheel. I kind of wish and hope maybe they will develop it where we can set which one is our default. That way, if we don't have the scoring wheel, we can just set as a default. The scoring stylus is our default. I don't know that they can do that. I don't know what technology they're using. But to me, that would be a happy medium for us all, so that we could select what our default was instead of them telling us the default is the wheel. So, but that's my only drawback to it right there, is instead I would prefer to be able to pick which one is my default. Because right now it's really a real pain, because we can't even get it yet for another 8 days, and then we've got shipping, and then if we're waiting, we're actually waiting another 20 days through Cricut to get it. So for 20 days we have to deal with that because we don't have access to the tool. Right, Kathy, I've done it 1,000 times. I've written on mine because I forgot to change it. Where, Stacy, if you want 100-pound, Cricut is 80. 100-pound, you're going to have to get Basil, and about the only place that I know where people can readily get it is going to be Joann's. There are many sites. You have Blitzy, scrapbook.com. There are just tons and tons and tons of sites that have 100-pound cardstock. The problem comes in when you're wanting 12 by 12. There's the Paper Source or something like that. There are several places where you can buy in bulk and get it, but shipping is astronomical. So you just have to weigh what I want to do. I mean, usually for that, I go for either a Stampin' Up, Basil from Joann, or I go to Gina K, 120. So I just wanted to cover that scoring wheel with you guys because I know that if you're working in your design space this week, you got that plug-in and you're just going to have to work around. But here is your edit tools, because I've had a couple people message me saying, we don't have the tool, can't get the tool, and it wants the tool, I can't make my card. So yeah, I have some 8.5 by 11 Michaels. My problem with the Michaels is they're always out of the 12 by 12 in the colors that I need. So I usually end up getting 8.5 by 11 inch sheets and then having to work with those. Because I prefer a 12 by 12, even if I have scrap to throw away or have to deal with. I like knowing that if I have a project that needs a large piece, I can do it. So just wanted to cover that with you guys. So let me cancel that so we're back on the screen. So if you guys have any questions, we can answer them over here. Okay, so next, let's go ahead and come over to the project camera. You're going to see a little bit of a mess. It's not going to look like the norm, so y'all just excuse it. I have cornstarch water, and I hope it's not trying to get a film on it. It is, but I'll stir it up. I'll figure out something. We're going to start with this, and, well, no, I'm not going to start with this. I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to start with Winter Chicken Dinner. This week, Winter Chicken Dinner gets a Live Love Sparkle bracelet, and that came from Art Glitter Glue. And you're going to get, I can't get $1 million bars, I've been trying, but you're going to get a chocolate bar. And you're going to get the EXO and the Lips Anna Griffin confetti makers or shaker card makers. So that's Winter Chicken Dinner this week. Debbie Spalding, if you're here, I apologize. I was cleaning up my desk and I found your envelope. I forgot to put it in the mail. It did go out today, though. You will get it. I usually do not mail that late. Everybody's number's in here. We're not going to pick yet. I will pick some point during the video. Anybody new coming in will have to wait till next week. I showed you guys this card last week. Let me get over here where I can see chat. You live in the Bahamas, Stacy, and you have to order it online. Okay. Stacy, I'm going to suggest, I don't know if Joann's ships to the Bahamas, but that Blitzy or scrapbook.com are going to be your best bets, because those bulk paper places here in the U.S., I mean, it's like you're ordering $20 worth of paper and it's $14 or $15 in shipping. It's just astronomical. And if you buy quantity, $100 worth of paper, they want to charge you $50 in shipping. So you have to buy so much to do that. I'm sorry, Liz, if it's breaking up. I'm still showing a good signal. There are storms in the areas, so that could be affecting you guys. So this is a card I showed you last week, and a couple of people started cutting it before I could get a tutorial done. So I'm just going to show you guys really quick how it goes together. This is a Patreon supporter file, so if you're a Patreon, you have access to this file. If you're not a Patreon, consider supporting, and then you can have access to it. But I'm just going to show you guys really quick how that card goes together. You're going to have, of course, your your folded 5x7 panel or whatever size that this is. I don't even remember. Then you're going to have a decorative panel, and you're going to have a panel with a half circle cut out of it. Then you're going to have another with a half circle cut out of it, and then a little opening right here. You're going to have a wheel. Mine's not written on in the file. It's got the writing already spaced out for you. You can change the words or whatever. Just make sure that they're going to line up. And then you're going to have a small disc. And the way that this goes together is you need a brad. And you're going to slip that small disc on the brad. And then you're going to, with your wording face up so that you can see them, you're going to place that on the brad. And then you're just going to open up that brad. Once you've got that brad opened up, you can, I've got a little score mark right here on this piece. I know you're not going to be able to see it on this dark cardstock, but if you've cut the file at home, you'll see. And there's a little score mark. You're going to place foam squares, 3 or 4, without them touching the brad and without them getting on your second wheel, just on that small disc. Then you're just going to basically line that up. You can even punch a hole if that helps. Use your weeding tool or make it slice before you cut it out. You can punch a hole right there so that you can see where that goes. So it'll help you line it, if that'll help you line it up. But then you're just going to stick that down with your foam squares. Okay? Then you're going to place foam squares all around without touching your wheel, all the way around, and put a few here so that it supports the card. And then you're going to stick this on top of those foam squares. Then you'll put this entire thing, you can art glitter glue it or use your tape runner. You're going to put that on your decorative panel, and then it's going to go on your card front. And then that will allow this to spin, giving you this mechanism. But I just wanted to show you guys how that went together. For those of you who have been asking, who have cut it and had an issue, that way you know how that card goes together. It's really quick, it's really easy, so no problems with that. Okay, these are some of the cards I did last week to show you guys. This is one of the panels. I know the camera's a little bit far away tonight, guys, and it's going to get a little further away because I have to have the space to show you guys. But I made this panel with watercolor paper, okay? And I used a stamp of a little crab, and I used my Copics and colored him. You can use these panels for tons of things. Last week I gave away a die, this die right here. And it had, for the Nuvo drops, it had the indentations for the Nuvo drops. I cut it out of one of those panels that I made using this process. Wanda, you can get those tiny brads at Michael's, at Joann's, at Hobby Lobby, scrapbook.com. They're just everywhere. Everybody has them. And like Jamie, I usually get mine from Michael's. Those little green ones that I had there, I got at the Scrapbook Expo a couple of years ago. But you can use these panels for tons of things. No two panels are ever going to be alike. They're all going to be different. You can change them up. This one's a little bit muted and light. And so is this one with a little bit of metallic. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera or not, but it's got some metallics in it, and it's got a lot of good shimmer. And then you can mix it up with lights and darks. Yeah, Terry, even the Dollar Tree has them. We have an affiliate link for Dollar Tree, too. You can order them online if you want to order your glasses for etching and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this technique today. And this is a hit and a miss. I'm going to practice on this one because this one I just stamped just to see how it would react if you stamped it first. And then all I have is the Canson watercolor paper. And I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me bring you out just a little bit. This is the 11 by 15. I don't know why I prefer this size. I guess because it fits on my mats, so I can cut it. But all I did is took a couple of sheets and I cut them in half at the 7.5 inch mark. And then I took those each and turned them around, landscaped them, and I cut them at 5.5. So my panels are 7.5 by 5.5 because we usually do cards that are 5 by 7 or either A2. And that way you can trim down the edges and things like that. So this size works perfect for me. I'm going to move that out of the way. And you're going to need to do this. You're going to need to make your cornstarch water. And mine's gotten a little thick because it's cooled off since I did it. But I'm going to show you guys a quick little video so you can see the consistency and what it's supposed to look like. And that, I got it that a little, it's a little bit too hot, but it's okay. If it gets really hot, and if it boils a little bit, that's okay. Just let it cool off. But you want it to be the consistency of like a gravy. Were you guys able to see that? I don't know if you were able to see it. I was on a different screen. Did it show up for you guys? Oh, no, it didn't because I forgot to transition over. So let me do it again. I'm sorry. So here you go. Now you should be able to see it. You need it to be about the consistency of gravy. And of course, you're not going to use it when it's hot like this. You're going to have to let it cool. Can you see it now, guys? Okay. And so that you just don't want any lumps and bumps and stuff like that. And mine's cooled a little bit. It's going to have a few, but I can deal with them. So let's go over to the project camera. But that's the consistency that you want to have. Okay? And the way that I got that was, I believe it was 4 teaspoons of cornstarch to 4.5 cups of water. So, in case you guys need that, 4 teaspoons of cornstarch. Just put it this way, if you get it too thick, just add a little bit of water and thin it down. What you're basically shooting for is having your paints be thinner than your cornstarch water. Okay? That's what you're looking for. So, as long as this is a pretty thick consistency, that's what you need. And then I have a bucket of clean water right here. And I've used a longer container for the one that I'm going to do my paints in. And don't fuss at me, Jamie and Sue, but I'm using a chalk couture mat here just to put my wet ones on because I don't have my counter in the kitchen to lay them on. So I'm just going to lay them on there when I pull them out of the water bath and put them over there. So what do we need to do? I've got my 5 little cups here. I'm just going to put those in the middle, or 6. When I actually got this color, I thought I was buying black. And I am trying these today. These are the acrylics over in the paint department at Hobby Lobby. I think Michael's has them too. They're like a $2.99, but they were 50% off this week, so they're $1.50. You get a ton more paint than you get with these for the $1. So to me, it was a better deal. But you can use either one. I did those that I showed you the photos of. I used this metallic from Folk Art. I used Americana. I used Apple Barrel. In those others, I used the Deco Art, and I used the Folk Art Metallic again. So any of those are going to work, and just regular plain old cornstarch is what I used to make the water with. So you can use any of the acrylic paints. Doesn't matter. As far as I know, it doesn't matter. We're about to find out. I've never used these. This is the first time I've used them. But all I did was water them down just a little bit. That was it. I just watered it down just a little bit. And I'm going to show you guys how. that I did that. I've got just a clean cup of water here in case I use a brush so I can rinse it off. But I put just a dab of paint, and that's more than enough. I mean, really, that is more than enough acrylic paint right there. And then you just put in a little dab of water, don't need much, and stir. And I promise you that was clean Dasani water. I hadn't drank out of it. I wouldn't want to drink out of it and then put it on somebody's curd. You just want it thin. You want it just the consistency of water. So at that point, you've got your paints that in the colors that you're going to be using. Is everybody with me so far? And I'm just using these little skinny sticks. I think I got these at Hobby Lobby. They may have come from Michael's. I don't know. Popsicle sticks, anything. You can use anything. I have a little assortment of brushes and stuff here that you can use anything you want, guys, because you can do all sorts of patterns. You can do tons of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my dark color. You can start with any color. Doesn't matter how you do this. And all I'm going to do is start dripping some of the paints right on the top. And you can do these with the sticks. And I'm going to show you here. I'm just going to use a paintbrush. And I'm just going to start dripping color all over. And you can be more precise with this and get it like you want. People do flowers and everything else with this. But I'm just going to throw a little bit of the black in there. I'm not going to use that brown. Like I said, when I purchased it, I literally thought I was buying black. I guess somebody stuck that in the wrong spot. But I've got a little bit of that there. And then I'm going to probably come in with my royal blue or medium blue. And I like to use the brushes better. That to me, it works better than the stick, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to rinse that off. And then I'm just going to start dripping more paint. And the cleanup on this is easy, guys. You can let your kids do this. It's non-toxic. They can do this out on the patio, summer fun, and then just hose down the patio, play in the hose a little bit. You don't want to let it dry, of course. It's acrylic, but how much fun would that be to let them create your papers for you? And then I'm going to come in with a little bit of this light color, just wherever. You can use as little or as much paint as you want. Doesn't matter. Ooh, I'm making a mess there. I flipped it right out on my paint bottles and on the table. Have paper towels handy. And I am going to probably use this and probably a little heavier than that. Kind of want this to be one of my main colors. So I'm just going to throw a good amount of this in there. And you can see that I got it thin enough. If your paint is sinking down into the cornstarch water, it's too thick. You need to thin it down some. But we just want to float it on the top. And I do want a little bit of metallic. Yeah, the fingernail polish, you can, I've seen people do something similar with the nail polish, but to me, you don't want to give that to the kids. If you spill it, you have a little bit of a mess going on. So, to me, the acrylics is a better way to go. And I'm just putting enough of this silver in here to give it some pearlescence, basically. They make a pearl paint. I used a pearl paint on one too. It works fine too. So that's just a little bit of each one of those. I'm going to set these out to the side, guys. And now we're basically, let me wipe up my mess. I told you I splattered it. It went everywhere. So then you want to take your watercolor paper, and I don't know if there's a smooth side, a right side, or wrong side. I just pick a side, and oops, not yet. I got ahead of myself. You can do that if you want, but I want to make a kind of a pattern in mine. So what I'm going to do is I've just got this tool. You can use the end of a paintbrush. You're just going to start dragging. To get the pattern that you want. And you can do big swirls or small swirls. You can do tons of things to get whatever pattern you want. I'm going to try to make a little bit of a swirl there. There we go. Just whatever pattern you want to make in the paint. Just play around in it. That looks good to me. And then I'm going to take that paper and I'm just going to drop it in. And I'm just going to press it. And if your cornstarch is a little warm, your paper may curl just a tiny bit faster. But it'll kind of curl up on this end to give you a place to pick it up. And then you're just going to drag it. And I have a place right there where I didn't get any paint. I didn't press it down enough. I'm just going to dab it. And when it's covered like that, you're just going to bring it over to the bath and rinse it off. I'm just going to shake it and get the thickness off. The heavier you want your paint, the more you want to put it on there. And then you're just going to lay it over there to dry. Let me see if I can get you guys in the camera enough here. I'm just laying it on this mat to dry. That's all I'm going to do. Once it's dried, I am going to, you can use your embossing gun. It was 4 teaspoons to 4.5 to 5 cups of water, Wanda. But just let it dry. You can dry it with your heat embossing gun, a hair dryer, whatever. It will bubble up and it will curl and it will do all of that stuff. So how did I get it flat? Guess how? The Easy Press. I just put it on low heat and put my Easy Press on it for a second and it flattened right out. You would think that I bought that right off the shelf. So my Easy Press worked perfectly for that. Now I could probably go in here and do another one on this. I'm going to do this one that I stamped. See how it reacts. This is a test, guys. I haven't done one with that yet. But just press down on your paper. Make sure you don't have any air bubbles. Pull it up. Rinse it off. And that was not stays on ink either, so it may smudge. Actually, looks pretty good. I'm just going to let that dry. Yeah, 4 teaspoons, 4 cups of water. You can thin it down if you need to. If it's thick, it's better. So if it's just too thick for you, you can always just kind of thin it down with some more water. And you can reuse it. It doesn't matter that that color's in there, really. I'm just going to float, I don't know. I'm just going to do one more, guys. So I'm just going to kind of pour lightly. Let's If I were doing some pinks and stuff, I think I did test it. I did one color and then did another. And the color that I had mixed into the cornstarch water didn't really matter because it's just the medium to make it float. It's not really what's sticking to the paper. I do too, Terry. I cannot, for the life of me. I've done a couple of them. I used some of the Ken Oliver stuff. Jamie suggested. She said I did great with it, but I was seriously doubting my own work. Let's do a little of this blue. I want a little bit heavier blue. I think I'll go across. And the beauty of doing it in these little cups is that you can just throw it away. There's no cleanup. Oh shoot, let's just go ahead and add this one too. And then I'm just going to start dragging this stick through it. You can use combs, you can use anything. You can get different patterns from tons of stuff. And then again, I'm just going to drop that paper in. And I'm just going to pat it down and let it sit until it starts curling up good. And then I'm going to lift on one end and drag it. Ooh, I like that. And then I'm just going to let that sit and dry. Let's see if I can get a good shot on the camera there. Just pull them to the side. And I'll show you guys. I left this one a little heavier than I left the others. My paper is really stuck over here. I couldn't get it to scoot. Let's see. I'll get that on there. And then maybe see if I can drag this one again. And remember, like I said, you don't have to worry about the edges because this is 5.5 by 7.5. And you're probably, that would be so pretty with a Batman theme on it. Yeah, you could just, don't worry about the edges at all. Oh, that's going to be pretty. Look at that. Because they're going to get trimmed off anyway. Unless you're making a card larger than 5.5 by 7 or 5 by 7. But that's basically all there is to it, guys. Hi, Sue. Right, Karen, you can paint right onto the surface of the watercolor paper like you're talking about. But if you do not do the cornstarch water, then the paint won't float on the top of it. It'll just mix right in. It'll look like this. It'll just mix in. It won't do anything. Let me show you. This is the paper where I rinsed it. It's just, it's not going to do anything at all. It won't stay on the paper. Thank you, Jamie. Yes, please thumbs up the video. So basically, that's all there is to this, guys. Just 4 cups of water, 4 teaspoons of cornstarch. Bring it to a, you don't even have to let it boil. Just get it good and hot to where it's the consistency of maybe a little brown gravy. And once you have that, of course, you're going to have to pour it into a pan. It will cool faster in one of these pans because it spreads out. and let it cool enough to play with. Make sure there's not a film on the top. Just shake it and make sure you have no film. And then just put your paint on the top and dip your paper. Yes, it will. The longer it sits, it will. Actually, Gerald, this one I did with warm cornstarch. So in my honest opinion, if you're using metallics or you want it to be really dark, like this one is really dark compared to, say, this one. This one was done in cold. The blue was done in cold. This one was done in hot. Well, it was warm. It was warm cornstarch water. To me, I got the best reaction out of the warm. This one was done in cool. This one was done in warm. So good question, because I almost forgot to say that. Warm cornstarch water, cool. You're going to get those heavier, better designs. And the less you stir it, the better it's going to get too. This one was also done in warm with metallics. These are all metallics on this one. The metallics don't want, and the pearls don't want to stick if you use the cold cornstarch water. I don't know why. I know that this is like a Turkish art, and their water is clear. I don't know what they have in it. I'm thinking it's gelatin, but I haven't gotten to the store to get gelatin to try it. But I'm thinking gelatin will work as well, because they reuse theirs and reuse theirs and reuse theirs, and theirs picks up every bit of the paint, where the cornstarch does not. So I'm thinking that they're using the gelatin in theirs and getting it to where it's not setting completely, but almost, you know what I mean? Like almost set Jell-O. And that's how they're doing theirs, to where it's still liquidy, but it's got enough play that the paints will float on the top. But I haven't experimented with that, so I can't give you guys a recipe on that. I can't find one online. I have searched and searched and searched, and nobody wants to give up the recipe. So if I can figure it out, I will pass it on to you guys, but I have to experiment with it. So until I can get to the store and buy enough gelatin to make up for mistakes. So did you guys have any questions on this at all? Yeah, Terry, I just kept using it. You can keep using it and keep using it. If you want to start with a different pattern, you just mix this in until it's blended and not floating on the top. But I mean, it only takes, I have what I call my craft pan, and it's a really thin pan. I think I gave $2 for it at the dollar store, and I can do the cornstarch water in about 3 minutes. So you can dump this and in 3 minutes have another one and keep going. Yes, so I think it is a secret recipe. But I mean, I'm still searching. I haven't given up. If I can find it, I will pass it on. If not, I'll come up with something. And well, that's what I did here. Is I came up with something. The cornstarch water. I heard somebody mention it. They didn't want to give up the recipe for that either, but I figured it had to be simply heavier than the watered down paint. I did not try to reheat it to get bolder colors, Terry. I mean, because these are pretty bold. They're just going to take some time to dry. And this is cold. This is completely cold because I did the cornstarch water at 6 o'clock. And the reason that you might be seeing things is I did put that metallic in here. So it may not be picking up on camera. It may look lighter, but it's pretty dark here. So, but you can dab it off and dry it off and get different patterns and colors and stuff to come up in it. Here's the other one. I just dabbed this one off, and it's still not dry. As it dries, it's going to become brighter too. And I just dried that one off with a paper towel. I just dabbed it to dry it off. So, I mean, your colors are going to come out and your metallics are going to come out when it dries. You don't have to worry about it. I know it looks kind of light. I actually thought this one and this one were not going to have any color to them at all, because when I pulled them out, I'm like, oh, those are garbage. They're not even going to color because they were so white. And then as they dried, the color popped out on them. So, I mean, they will come out. Just give them a few minutes, let them sit. And like I said, I just dab mine with a paper towel after they've sit for a few minutes. And then I'll dry them down with my embossing gun and flatten them with my heat press or my easy press. So, you guys want to see me on camera or you want to see me draw on camera? How about I draw on this camera here and then I announce on... I got a number. It's blue. Blue is in the B's. Somebody that's in the B column. I have not turned it over. I'm not going to say. I'm just going to stay here on camera till I swap over. So you guys can see me. For a minute anyway. I feel like a pretzel. There we go. Alright, here's the number. Guys. Hi everybody. And the winner is lucky number 13. Who has 13? Patsy Orsburn. Are you here, Patsy? If not, we're going to give your number away and we're going to pick somebody else. You have to be... There she is. Yay, Patty. Patsy, if you're a Patreon member, I have your address and I will get that out to you. If you are not a Patreon member, please come over to the Facebook group and message me and I will get your prize out to you. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Yay. Okay, does anybody have any design space questions? Everybody good on what you have to do to get around the scoring wheel until you get a scoring wheel? I'm sorry, Stacy. I'm still showing a good stream. Facebook was doing a weird little... what do you call it? Buffering, but then it stopped. I'm sorry that it's buffering on you guys. Maybe it won't be doing that on the playback. It may. I don't know. I did reset my connection and everything before I started today. I've got everything turned off except what we absolutely have to have. Yeah, it was slow for me this morning too, Sue. And I think it may be some of these afternoon thunderstorms that are throughout everybody's areas. Judy, if it does that throughout the entire time, you'll need to log out and log back in and see if that helps. Of course, you guys can always come to the group and ask questions on anything you missed while it was buffering. Jamie's there, Sue's there, I'm there. We'll be happy to, and Catherine's there. We'll be happy to answer your questions. And I will even post some photos of these in the room with the recipe for you guys. Thank you. Thank you very much to my Patreon supporters. You guys have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next Monday. Patreons, I'll see you Saturday.